What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So here we are, we have a new teaser. I think this is our second official teaser that we have gotten for the Toxic Avenger remake starring Peter Dinklage and Keven Bacon, amongst many others. But as you can see from this timestamp, this just dropped a few hours ago by the time this video gets made and uploaded. So as you've heard me say before, I was never a big fan of the franchise of the original one, the original Toxic Avenger. I was very hesitant. I'm always hesitant when it comes to remakes, period. But when this remake came about, it was filmed and completed years ago, and they finally are getting a theatrical release later this year. For whatever reason, that decision was changed. Someone got someone to change their mind, and now they're getting a theatrical release. So we have a second teaser trailer, and if you didn't know, we've actually covered this film a couple of times on those teaser trailers and recent news reports. But if you didn't know already, and it will be in our horror news and updates playlist, just search by the Toxic Avenger. If you didn't know, Peter Dinklage does not play Toxie. As you see here in this picture, that's not Peter Dinklage. That is a completely different actor. Peter Dinklage plays obviously the character pre the incident that changes him, and then after that is a completely different actor who dons all this makeup and all the prosthetics and then continues the film. Now, Peter Dinklage, however, does still do the voiceover work, but he is not the one dressed as this. And no one knew this for the longest time. We all assumed that it was always Peter Dinklage up until, again, about a month and a half ago, when an article was released that said, if you didn't know, Peter Dinklage is not the one playing him in the makeup, which I was a bit surprised. Not sure why they decided to go that route. Not sure why Peter decided to go that route. I would have thought, hey, if you're going to star in the film, why not just go all out? Why not just play the full role, play both? But again, I'm not the one that makes those decisions, and maybe he was of the opinion, no, I'm not going to wear all that makeup, find somebody else to do it, but I will do the voiceover. The other thing is, as far as the stature of Toxie in the remake versus the original, he obviously, Peter Dinklage is playing the character, so he's going to be someone much shorter than what we have seen in the original films. Who you have this, very tall Toxie. We're not going to have that here, and I questioned that previously before we even got any of the teaser trailers where we actually got to see the full, height overall aspect of the character, because we would see images like this and you really couldn't tell if they were going to have Peter Dinklage as like the pre the incident happening in the film, and then once he turns into Toxie, the height would come with him, where they would completely maybe add that to it to make it a little bit closer to the original. But that's not the way they're going. So as you see here, the headline, the Toxic Avenger remake starring Peter Dinklage and Keven Bacon gets a new teaser trailer. So we're going to take a look at the article details like we always do first, then we're going to watch this new teaser. So fans have been waiting a long time to see writer-director Macon Blair's remake of the Tromo cult classic, The Toxic Avenger, which wrapped filming way back in 2021 and unveiled a teaser trailer near the end of 2023. Around the time it had its world premiere screening, but we won't have to wait much longer. At the start of the year, it was announced that Cinemaverse had acquired the distribution rights with the intention of giving the film an unrated wide release, and we've since learned that it will be aiming for August 29th theatrical release. Now a new teaser trailer has arrived online, and you can check it out in the above below, and that's the one we're going to be watching. So we have here, we're not going to read this next bit. It's the synopsis for the film. We have covered this synopsis various times in previous videos, so I don't think we necessarily need to cover it again. We know what this one's going to be about. And this next section, it just goes over all the casting and some of the other things that these individuals have been in. Again, we're not going to read through all that. We know who's in this: Peter Dinklage, Keven Bacon, Elijah Wood. So again, we know the various individuals who are in this. Let's keep going. So right here, it does mention here, Dinklage doesn't physically play Toxie. Instead, Luisa Guerrero, if I'm pronouncing it even that closely, an actor and movement artist, provides the physical performance of Toxie underneath the makeup and costume. Dinklage does still provide the character's voice after Winston becomes Toxie. So this is exactly what I was just saying earlier. And I'm glad they mentioned it here in the article as well, so y'all could see it is in fact confirmed that he doesn't play Toxie. The Toxic Avenger remake was filmed in Bulgaria, so yeah, we know all this information. So again, nothing new here. And yeah, so that's the end of the article. But again, I am glad that they did provide this. They'll insert here. So again, if you didn't know this, you thought maybe I was making it up. I'm not making it up. It was confirmed that he doesn't play Toxie, which again, doesn't make much sense to me. So, all right, so let's get back to the top. Now we're going to pull up this new teaser and see what they're going to give us.
Are headaches keeping you down? Is stress making you look ugly and old?
Hi, as you can see, I'm a doctor.
Board certified.
I have a headache, I reach for the brand of medicine that works the best.
Buy toxamphetamine, hydroxy.
You came to us with those headaches, and we ran some tests. This is a very advanced case of... There is a drug treatment available for this. It's very new and wildly expensive, but your insurance will probably cover it.
My name is Winston Goose, and I've been working for you for 13 years.
What can I do for you?
I'm sick, sir. The BT insurance won't help.
What is it you do for us?
Hygiene services. Mop shop. What?
Mop shop. What?
We're gonna sort this out, my man.
Fire him again. Jesus Christ. Mop shop.
So that was a very short teaser. So let me check here. That was only 57 seconds long. So not a long teaser at all. Very, very short. But we did get to see for the first time Keven Bacon's character and Peter Dinklage character on screen together, which was interesting. Keven Bacon looking a little creepy. And we also get to hear Keven Bacon talk about firing Winston, Peter Dinklage's character. And we did get to see some new scenes of Toxie, and specifically towards the end when he's ripping the guy's arm off. And if you didn't know, this film is unrated. So I do, and if you haven't seen the previous teaser where they're in the restaurant and we see Toxie using the mop and swiping at one of the terrorists and his jaw getting completely ripped off, they show all that in all its glory with his tongue hanging out and the blood just pouring out of his face. So with this being unrated, I do expect there's going to be a substantial amount of gore in it and violence, very similar to what we saw with Terrifier 3. And I think that is one, probably not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I think this film is now coming to us in theaters as unrated, because I think somebody saw the success of Terrifier 3 and the gore factor with that being unrated, and they had Toxie, already done. It's been sitting there, and they probably thought now's the time to release it. Fans gravitated towards that type of horror, gravitated towards that type of gore, and we have the Toxic Avenger remake that's been sitting on the shelves for 3-4 years. Let's release it as unrated, and let's see if we can, have a moneymaker here. Which I think if that same crowd shows up for this, along with the hardcore fans of the Toxic Avenger show up for this, I think it could be just as successful, if not more successful, than Terrifier 3 was. Now, we don't have any budget numbers to say, to do a comparison like we have done with Terrifier, where it was a very low budget that then made more than 7, 8, 9 times its budget. Once we get closer to the release date, I'm sure once we get those box office numbers, then they'll probably start releasing, hey, this was the budget, here's where we're landing as far as the box office results. And I don't know if this is going to be a worldwide release either. We haven't received any information on that either. We do know Terrifier 3 did get a global release, at least in most, I want to say not major regions, but we know it was a release across like Europe, was obviously here in the US and Canada. So I'm not sure how the Toxic Avenger release will happen. I know in some regions it probably won't get released just because of the gore factor, and this is unrated. So anyways, that's the new teaser for the Toxic Avenger. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think, if you're still hyped for this one, or if you just really don't care for it and you'll wait to see it on streaming or possibly a rental. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.